So now let's start with the adjustments. Here are some adjustment chart which is given in textbook. So what I feel, मुझे क्या लगता है कि ये बहुत ज़्यादा कंफ्यूजिंग हो जाता है, क्योंकि कभी कभार हमारा पॉइंट्स भी टेढ़े हो जाते हैं तो हम भूल जाएंगे कि हमें कहाँ कैसे लिखना है. सो व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू, हम इसका एक सेपरेट टेबल टाइप्स ऑफ नहीं बनाएंगे, हम उसका एक सेपरेट नोट्स बनाएंगे एक नोटबुक में. सो इट्स बेटर कि कभी कभार ऐसा भी होता है कि लाइक इफ़ यू वांट टू सॉल्व अकाउंट्स का पेपर है और छुट्टी नहीं है बीच में, स्पेशली ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ यूनिट टेस्ट, तो तब क्या होता है कि हम लोगों को पढ़ना है, उसके साथ सॉल्व भी करना है, वो थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है. उसके साथ आपको थोड़ा एडजस्टमेंट्स भी देखनी होती है, और फिर कभी कभार ऐसा होता है कि अगर हम सॉल्व करते बैठते हैं तो हमारी आधी एडजस्टमेंट छूट जाती है और आधी रह जाती है. सो फॉर दैट, सो अब हम स्टार्ट करते हैं फर्स्ट एडजस्टमेंट जो कि है क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. सो आई विल मेक स्क्रीन विजिबल. सो वी आर गोइंग टू राइट क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. क्लोजिंग स्टॉक, उसका फर्स्ट इफेक्ट हमें शीट, तो हमारा फर्स्ट इफेक्ट जाएगा बैलेंस शीट में. कहाँ पे? एसेट साइड. सो इतना बड़ा लिखने की जगह हम एक शॉर्ट फॉर्म लिख सकते हैं जो कि हमारा होगा और ए. हम एडजस्टमेंट के आगे ए लिख देंगे कि हाँ हमारा पहला इफेक्ट एसेट साइड होगा. सेकंड इफेक्ट हमारा होगा ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट. किस साइड? क्रेडिट साइड और टी सी. इस तरीके से हमें ये लिखना है. देन आफ्टर डूइंग दिस मैं इसको हाईलाइट कर दूंगी कि हाँ इसमें एक एडजस्टमेंट्स है. तो अभी फ़िलहाल मैं काम करती हूँ कि मैं ये पूरा लिख लेती हूँ, उसके बाद हम मिलते हैं एंड एक्सप्लेन करेंगे कि हर एक एडजस्टमेंट कैसे सॉल्व करना है. Adjustments are the extra question which is given below the trial balance, which also has two effects. Let's begin with the first adjustment, that is closing stock. So closing stock have two effects. The first effect is balance sheet asset sides and the second effect is trading account credit side. We write closing stock as shown in the diagrams. The first effect, it's here in balance sheet, which is written as closing stock and the amount given in the question. Second effect, trading account for the year ended credit side by closing stock and the amount given. Now please note that if two amounts are given, one as cost price and one as market price, then choose the smaller amount. To be more clear, I'll give you an example. If question have an adjustment on closing stock such as the closing stock is valued at cost price rupees 45,000 while its market price is 50,000, so we'll take the lower price as closing stock, that is 45,000. Now let's move further to the second adjustment. Second adjustment is outstanding expenses. So the first effect of outstanding expenses is to the particular expense in TD or PD, and the second effect is balance sheet liability side. Outstanding expenses, it is wages. So if it is outstanding wages, it should be returned to trading account debit side and balance sheet liability side. These are the short form for trading account and liabilities. So The next is salaries. Outstanding salaries is to be added to salaries in profit and loss debit side, balance sheet liability side. Rent. Sometimes in question it is given as outstanding rent, but sometimes it may also be returned as rent of rupees XXX. The amount given is still receivable from tenant, that is outstanding, it is not yet have been received, so that's why it is profit and loss account debit side and liabilities. Next, office expenses, profit and loss account and liabilities. Audit fees, profit and loss account and liabilities. Electricity charges, profit and loss account debit side and liabilities. Now, to give you a clear idea how it is written, I'll show you the tabular format of this. So our first outstanding adjustment was on wages. So the amount of wages which we write in trading account debit side, we add outstanding wages to it and we add it in inner column, then the total of it we write in the outer column. And the other second effect is in liability side, that is we write outstanding wages and the amount. If there is now no other outstanding expenses, then we write this amount in outer column. The others which are in profit and loss account debit side, it is over here. So the first effect of salaries is to be, the outstanding salary is to be added to salaries, and the other effect in liabilities side as OS salaries. In the same way, rent, office expenses, audit fees, electricity expenses are also be returned. Now let's move further to the third adjustment. These are prepaid expenses which have been already paid in advance. Their first effect is in balance sheet asset side, and the second effect is in trading account debit side or profit and loss account debit side, which is to be less from particular expenses. So for example, it also have wages, salaries, commission, audit fees and insurance. Now let's give you a clear view in a tabular form. So the first effect is wages. Wages have been already paid, so that we don't need to pay it again. We subtract the amount of prepaid wages from actual wages and we write it in asset side. Similarly, from salaries, commission, insurance and audit fees, we subtract prepaid wages and write in asset side as second effect, as prepaid salaries, prepaid commission, prepaid audit fees, prepaid insurance. Now moving on our further adjustments, number 4, which is income received in advance, which is also known as pre-received income. So its first effect is less from particular income in trading account debit side or profit and loss debit side. Its second effect is balance sheet liabilities side. So here is the tabular format to give you a clear view. So trading account, profit and loss account for the year ended, here it is. If the income is ABC, let ABC be the income and write the value of it in inner column. Then the amount of pre-received income is to be subtracted from that ABC income. So we write it as a pre-received income and we subtract, and whatever it's remaining we should write in outer column. The second effect is written as in liability side, pre-received income, and the amount is to be written in the outer column. Now let's move on our fifth adjustment. That's income receivable, which is also known as outstanding income. So the first effect of this is in balance sheet asset side, and the second effect is add to the particular income in profit and loss credit side. So giving you the clear view in tabular format is here we first effect in balance sheet as on in asset side income receivable or outstanding income, outer column the amount has to be written. Second effect in profit and loss account credit side, it's by ABC income plus outstanding income, the total has to be written in outer column. Number 6, it's bad debts or new bad debts, that is additional bad debts. Now this is the most frequently asked adjustments in exam. This adjustment is to be solved very clearly because it have a particular bunch that you should know. See, the first effect is add to old bad debts, and the second effect is to less it from debtors in balance sheet asset side. Now let's see the tabular format. Here we have its first effect in profit and loss account for the year ended debit side. Here we have the old bad debt, that is 2 bad debts, the amount, and we add new bad debts to it, and the total is to be written in outer column. Here we have second effect in balance sheet as on asset side debtors, the amount of debtors in inner column minus new bad debts, and the answer left is to be written in outer. Also need to mention about RDD. So provision for doubtful debts, which we write as RDD in short, which is also known as new RDD. So it also have two effects. That is, first effect is add to the old bad debts in PD, profit and loss account debit side, and the second is less from debtors in balance sheet assets out. Now let's give you the clear view in tabular format. The first effect, it is profit and loss account for the year ended in debit side, that is 2 bad debts, the amount of bad debts, adding the new RDD amount, and the total is to be written in outer column. The second effect is in balance sheet asset side debtors, from debtors should be subtracted and writing the leftover amount in outer column. Now let's start with the bunch. Bad debts are mentioned in both trial balance as well as in adjustment. That is, the bad debts which is mentioned in trial balance is the old bad debts, and the bad debts which is given in adjustment is the new bad debts. So here this meaning of the statement is where old bad debts and new bad debts both are mentioned. Then the other one is where RDD is mentioned in both trial balance as well as in adjustment, which also means that the RDD which is mentioned in trial balance is old RDD, and the RDD which is mentioned in adjustment is new RDD. So what we do, if this 4 items is mentioned in one question, so it has a bunch which has to be remembered by you while solving this such type of question. So its first effect is in profit and loss account debit side, where we write old bad debts. So the bad debts which are old, the amount is to be written in inner column. Then we add new bad debts and write its amount in inner column. Then we add new RDD amount is to be written in inner column. Then after doing this, we subtract old RDD from this 3, and the answer which is left, the amount which is left is to be written. So this is the whole bunch which contains 4 steps. So this was the first effect. Now let's move on to the second effect, which is balance sheet as on. So in balance sheet in asset side, what we do is we simply write debtors and its amount in inner column. Now then we less new bad debts from amount of debtors. What we get, then we also less the amount of RDD, and what the amount left over is to be written in outer column. So moving further on eighth adjustment, that is reserve for discount on debtors. So its first effect is add the discount allowed in PD, that is profit and loss account debit side. Then its second effect is less from debtors as reserved for discount in balance sheet asset side. Now let's see the tabular view. So in tabular format, first effect in profit and loss account for the year ended, in debit side to discount allow we add the discount on debtors, we add the amounts and write the total in outer column. Second effect, which is in balance sheet asset side, we write debtors and amount in inner column, then we minus reserve for discount from debtors, and the amount left is to be written in outer column. Further moving on ninth